So I just read book number 3 in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so The Return of the King. And this is the end of the trilogy, essentially. Once again, I really enjoyed this book. I think it's my favorite one. I was about to say this far, but no, it's the end, so there are no other books in the trilogy. But yeah, I think this one is my favorite one, mainly because of how good the second part of the book is. And I don't want to say second half because it's not the second half of the book. Mainly like the second 2/3 of the book or something like this, because at first I struggled reading the book. So the first 80 pages or so I kind of struggled, only because I thought it was a bit boring to follow Merry and Pippin, but it made more sense afterwards, to see kind of how Merry is close to the king of Rohan, Theodred. I don't remember his name, but the king of Rohan, essentially, before Eomer. But yeah, I understood why they did that. The only one that I didn't fully liked is Pippin walking through Minas Tirith. That's the only part that, in my mind, was not as good and didn't have the same purpose. But at the same time, it's like 10 or 15 pages long, so it's not that bad actually. And afterwards, after that, so these first 80 pages, the war kind of starts, and it's just so good. There's so much action in it, and yeah, you get the stakes are high now, and people are dying. Not a lot of people are of important people. I don't want to say important, but the main characters, none of them really dies. But there are a lot of close calls actually, and it was really good actually. I don't remember if the movie is a lot different than the book. I think so. Like, I think that the movie didn't went as deep. Of course, the movie didn't go as deep as the book, but what I meant to say is I don't think that the movie showed everything that happens in the book. So let's just start with Faramir. We kind of see like his father losing his mind and trying to burn himself with Faramir, but we don't see kind of the recovery of Faramir, if I'm not mistaken. Same thing here, we don't really see the recovery of Merry. Sorry, Pippin is gone somewhere else. Of Merry and Eowyn, which is a shame because in the book it was so well described and made more importance, of Aragorn. We see how good of a king he is to become, actually. So going back to maybe book number 2, because it has some importance here in book number 3. Saruman is still alive in book number 2, so Wormtongue doesn't kill Saruman in Isengard, actually, but much, much later. And Saruman here has a part to play, actually. I'm not sure why they didn't keep that in the movie, because I feel like Saruman being in the Shire and everything has an impact on the decision that Frodo made to go to the Grey Heaven. I might be reading too much into it, but that's just something that I've understood, that I feel like maybe Frodo would have stayed in the Shire if the Shire was really that paradise that he had in mind. But since it wasn't, and he had to work hard to make it maybe a paradise, to maybe having the Shire become this paradise, had an impact on his health and on his decision to go with the elves, actually. But once again, I might be mistaken, but that's just something that I thought actually. I think why this book is my favorite, because it's mainly because all the stories come to an end. There's no, apart from one person, there's all the stories come to an end. You have a sense of closure, and I think that is very important for the fantasy book. Not necessarily all fantasies, but for this one to have the sense of closure for all different stories, I think it makes perfect sense. I usually don't mind not understanding the end or not seeing where things are going. Just like from Roadside Picnic, nothing is explained at the end, and you don't know what's gonna happen to all the different characters. Here, it wouldn't make sense, to have this kind of ending. So it makes perfect sense to have full closure on most of the characters. We don't see Tambon Basil, but as I said previously, I don't really care about that character. So I really felt like, I was part of the quest in a weird way. Just because I've got this sense of closure at the end of understanding like what was at stake and everything. I really feel like I was kind of part of the story. And as I said, in book one, I didn't care for the songs at first. Now I really get it. I understand why the songs are there. It's to build the environment. It's building the world in which we are following this story. And yeah, there was a comment, I think on book number 2 actually, that says, read the Silmarillion, the songs makes so much more sense afterwards. And yeah, I'm just gonna do that actually, not now, but it's on my to be read books list actually, which is a video that's going to come in 2 weeks, I think, or something like this. But yeah, I'm gonna read the Silmarillion for sure. I want to dig a bit deeper into the Lord of the Rings mythos. I actually already read the Silmarillion like 15 years ago though, so I don't remember anything. And I was young and it didn't make an impression on me, but since now I've read the Lord of the Rings books and we get to see all these different places, we see all these different names, I'm kind of want to read the Silmarillion, see these different places and people, and see where they are. I really think that The Hobbit should be a part of the trilogy thing, so quadrilogy or whatever. But yeah, I really think that The Hobbit should be part of this, mainly because it's the start of the Ring mythos, the Ring timeline, if I could say it like this. I really think that the Hobbit should be part of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I'm definitely going to come back to the Lord of the Rings, but this next time around I'll not read the trilogy as separate books, but just I'll read the one volume edition, so where you have all 3 books within the same book. But I'll read the Hobbit before and then, just so it's a continuation or something. It's not going to be this year though. I don't want to get hopes up or whatever, because I've got so much book to read actually. And yeah, so one last thing for the book, I couldn't put this book down, after page 80. I feel like it was a real page turner. I couldn't wait to see what was gonna happen. And the fact that it's different from the movie, I didn't really see the ending coming that much. The destruction of the ring, of course I saw it coming, but the Frodo coming back to the Shire was unexpected, because it's not like that at all in the movies. And I really liked the version in the book way better than in the movies. So as to what's next, so later this week I'm going to be posting a to be read list. So the books that I'm gonna read, I think I'm planning until June 26th. So videos until July 6th, or close to that, because I want to read a book a week. There's just the book that I'm reading right now is going to take me at least 2 weeks. Not at least, but it's going to take me 2 weeks top to read. I'm reading Ken Follett, A Dangerous Fortune, but I've got more videos already packed before those 2 weeks. But it's, yeah, usually I put up a video a week, so a video for each book that I've read, but the Ken Follett book is going to be in 2 weeks. But don't worry, I still have more things to come. So after my to be read video, I'm going to do a Stalker movie review. So Stalker being the movie behind Roadside Picnic that I made a video of last week. So I want to review the Stalker movie. Also, what I want to do is review the Lord of the Rings trilogy as a whole. So do a review of all 3 books, as one, as it was intended. After that, I want to do a Lord of the Rings movie review. So for the whole trilogy, I'm not going to do one movie, a video for each movie or whatever. I'm going to do just one for all 3 movies put together once again. So just so you guys know, I'm watching again the extended version. This is going to be, I think, my 5th time watching the extended version. Yeah, because I saw the theatrical release when it came out at least 4 or 5 times each. I don't want to do a comparison of theatrical versus extended version. If you want to watch the Lord of the Rings movies, watch extended version, not the theatrical release. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.